I'm going to share my screen. I think we have some guests from Germany and from Valdaura. Slowly, the whole Google Hangout thing is starting to work quite well. And yeah, first thing, any general questions regarding the class? Something you didn't understand?
I have one question about materials. Just at the end, I think there was like the MDF, and I noticed with the comment, architecture is MDF. So what's the analysis of that MDF?
Okay, the question is like how good or bad is MDF for cutting with a laser? And yeah, actually we cut a lot of MDF. It makes a lot of black smoke that stays inside the laser. It's not my favorite material, but it cuts very nicely, and if you clean your laser regularly, it shouldn't be a problem. What we really want to avoid is some dense cardboard. It's usually 1 millimeter thick, and it's gray. This stuff is really nasty. It cuts very nicely, and the architects love it, but we ban it because it's really messy. Okay. So first thing I wanted to show you was just a bunch of pictures. So if you look at the classes from last year, so this is just a random collection of pictures I found going through the pictures on the MIT website. So you can do anything from a piece of furniture. And actually, there's people doing crazy stuff with cardboard. Like first, what do you think when you hear only allowed material is cardboard? You think like, what? What should I do with cardboard? It's very soft and nothing very strong. But actually, you can make almost anything out of cardboard. There's people making beds out of cardboard. People that put their television onto a cardboard furniture. You can make stools out of cardboard. You can make little houses out of cardboard. So don't feel limited. This one is a wine bottle holder, which is quite nice. It's all the same piece that snaps together for putting wine bottles. This one is an interesting one. Jonathan? Oh, we only get feedback from you. This one is interesting because it combines the cardboard with another element, which is a straw. So feel free, if you have some material that you would like to use together with the cardboard, no problem. Straws are cheap and quite stable if you use them in the right way. What the basic requirement that we all have to fulfill is to make something that fits together and stays together. This is what you want to learn. If you just make a design and you send it to cut, it won't stay together. It will just fall apart again. So we have to learn what the curve is. So if I refer to curve, this is the thickness of the line that the laser is cutting, usually about 0.25 millimeters. And curve compensation is what we want to learn this week. Yeah?
We talk about this Q lasers.
Yeah. So if I say 0.25, this is different on every laser. It depends on how clean the laser is, how new the tube is. Like the laser tubes degrade over time, so they get weaker when they get older. It depends on how well your material is focused. There's a autofocus. Sometimes you have to focus manually. Depending on how well you do this, the cut is going to be thinner or thicker. It depends on the thickness of your material, because the laser cut is not straight. It's like it's V-shaped, and you can decide if you want the V on top or on the bottom or somewhere in the middle of your material. But in any case, you will get something that looks like an X. So it's only focused right at the crossing of the X. All the rest is slightly tapered. So if you have very thick material, your cutting width will be wider on some point than on another. Then we have acrylic. Acrylic also cuts very nicely, but I don't like it as a material because it's very brittle. It breaks very easily. If you have sharp corners after a while, pieces just break by themselves, even without touching them. This is a detail of the one with the straws. So you can see that in addition to just snapping together, he also has a little hole where another pin snaps inside. So you lock it, and you have to take out the pin in order to disassemble it, which is a very nice idea. This way you can make very robust structures out of cardboard. Another detail of the same one with the straws. This looks like a clothes hanger. Oh yeah, it's already has a jacket. Cardboard shoes. I think they're great. Like, yeah. And if you look, yeah, this looks kind of like a joke, but if you look at the SolidWorks drawing, you realize that there's quite some work going into that.
Did you make that with like,
no, this is SolidWorks.
SolidWorks?
Yeah. Lots of crazy lines in there. I don't know why, but I'm sure there's some trick or some script that you could run in SolidWorks for making this easier. Then, of course, you can use different materials. You can color your cardboard. We have lots of paint. If you want to get more creative, go ahead. This one is probably made on the vinyl cutter, and it's another option for showing you that you not only can you make snap fits that lock together, but you can also make them adjustable. So you can make one snap fit that snaps in different positions. So you can make like adjustable hats or shoes or whatever you come up with. And this one goes more in the direction of origami. If you want, I have a few origami programs that I can recommend you. Maybe I'll put this on the list.
Yes.
Yeah, in the next moment. Oh, whoa. No. No, lost my window. Sorry. Whoa. Where is it? Mm-hmm. You can do useful stuff. This looks like a something for putting your clothes or for carrying firewood. This one looks very nice. You can hardly see the joints, so you must have some clever way of hiding them inside. And it's probably quite stable because the cardboard is very easy to bend like this, but very hard to bend in the horizontal direction. So if you make some ribs, you can make your objects much stiffer. This is just a very simple test, but you can already see that there's some little hooks here that fit into here. This is probably very small. But of course, the little hooks, they wear out over time. So probably you can come up with something that is a bit more flexible, so you don't just like smash your hooks, but you keep them flexible. I think this was a funny system of how to organize, like, yeah, I forgot, VP, or does this make any sense to anybody? This one is a nice one. Maybe you've seen this one before. It's a lamp you can buy in IKEA. It has a name. It's just one shape. It's one shape that looks a bit like an S, but you can snap it together to make lamps in any size. If you make it from paper like this one, they go nice and translucent. So if you put a lamp inside, you can make a beautiful lamp. All right, this one is kind of a classic. This one is hanging in my room and very small. I like it. So this is very easily achievable with 1-3D. And I'm not sure, like Neil decided just before class that it has to be a parametric design. I'm not sure if 1-3D counts as parametric. But it kind of is, because you can go and change the settings for your curve in the preferences. Yeah. 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 It's quite nice. The 1-to-3D make is getting better. Now you can also do unwrapping of 3D models. You have 3 or 4 different ways of stacking cardboard for making designs. It labels everything for you. You will have to go through the trouble of generating a PDF, opening it in Inkscape, post-processing it, giving the correct colors to the correct lines so that one part gets engraved and the other one gets cut. But that's very easy. I really like a plugin for Blender that is called Paper Model. So I will also go through installing and using this one. And there's definitions in Grasshopper for doing these structures that fit together. Like you see some pictures up there as well. How do we call those? A waffle structure. So you can do this in very small or in very big. I think in Sevilla they have a waffle structure that is maybe 50 meters high. I can show you after.
What about the material that we have?
Right behind you.
And how thick is that?
Huh?
How thick is that?
It's 4 millimeters.
4 millimeters.
Yeah. So everybody gets 1 square meter of 4 millimeter cardboard. But if we run out of cardboard, we can buy more. So you don't feel limited by. Right? Yeah, and we have vinyl and we have cardboard. Then this is a little detail of a press fit in MDF. Something a bit more three-dimensional. This one is nice as well. This is a funny hat or a flying saucer. Oh, this one is a windmill. It's a vertical axis windmill. So yeah, I'm sure you can come up with some useful stuff. Like as much as I don't care so much about the waste of the cardboard, I always do like to make useful things. So if you can build something that you can actually use. For my Fab Academy, I built a lamp that is very useful because I really needed a lamp, so it was a perfect solution. So I guess since most of you just moved to a new flat in Barcelona, maybe some lamps, or maybe something for putting your dirty clothes, or a little sculpture on the wall. Well, we haven't seen any houses in this assignment yet, but surprise me. And this one is the Grasshopper definition of a model that transforms a DNA structure into a cardboard press fit structure. I guess you can tell that he spent what he did in this week. Looks like a little, like a bush, almost like a forest. Paper planes. You can also make great toys with it. This is the DNA structure, so this is what Grasshopper is actually generating. You can also bend cardboard to a certain degree, so you can make structures like this one, which turn quite strong. As soon as you have bending in one direction, you get a lot of stiffness. I like this one. It's a little racing track for playing for little cars. So I think this one just had a little son or a little daughter, and so he decided, or maybe it's even for marbles or something. But there's a game to it, so you have to push the marbles through the holes and go around the obstacles. Maybe you can go with 2 teams and fight against each other. And you can make it a real construction kit. If you Google for Neil Gershenfeld on Wikipedia, you can tell that he's famous for some construction kit, the maker kit or something. And if somebody manages to find out what this exactly is, and where to get the files for it, I would love to build it. Okay, this one I don't know what it is. It looks kind of interesting though. It's also making use of the bending. This is the one with the straws in like another dimension. And this one is, yeah, you can tell that you can make different things with it. So it's a little dog or, well, I don't know what the other one is. Oh, yeah, great. Shot glass holder. So if you can come up with something that might be useful for the lab, actually I'm working on a, well, not the shot glass holder, but anything for holding screws, for holding components, maybe for securing your board while you're soldering it, or I came up with a parametric design for making cardboard boxes that I'll happily distribute. I made it in SolidWorks. Works really nice. Makes a cardboard box that folds together without any glue, so you get a nice box with a lid. It stays closed. But I would love to have it in OpenSCAD, so I could put it online and use it in Thingiverse. If somebody's up to that, I have all the formulas. It's just about doing it. And yeah, I think this is some vinyl cutter things. Yeah, the vinyl cutter is, you don't have to do it this week, you just have to do it at some point at FabAcademy. And right now our program is very busy, so we have tomorrow we're doing the general introduction to the lasers. So we're going to try the 3 lasers that we have. And maybe if you find some time after, or if somebody, but I guess as soon as you know how the lasers work, you want to cut some stuff, and you will be cutting things.
Ferdy, I had a question.
Yeah, Greg?
I was wondering if you know what kind of laser is in Baldora.
The laser in Baldora has a frequency of about 1,000 nanometers. So it's how do you say? Well, it's invisible light, and it's a CO2 laser. CO2, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a fiber laser. It would be nice to have one for making PCBs, but there are some tricks we can do for making PCBs in a CO2 laser as well. Once we get to the PCB making, we can have another chat about this. Do you know the power of the laser in Baldora?
Sorry, Ferdy, in case you hear us, we don't hear you anymore, but we're fixing that right now.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, you don't hear me. Okay. Yeah, good luck. They can hear it on the recording. It just doesn't make much sense.
How do you mind the narrow parts?
We're good, Ferdy. We can hear you back.
Ah, okay, great. Did I answer your question?
Perfectly, thanks.
Okay. So yeah, vinyl cutter is great if you have the patience for doing the weeding. The weeding is the part where you take out the stuff that you don't want. And depending on how complex your design is, this might take you a few minutes to a few hours. You can see this one. No, but if you want, you can make a quick cut into something right after this one. Yeah. There's some on my computer. Let me see. Okay.
The back is on the back, and then you lift the folding, and then you stick, and then you clean up.
No, you clean up, and then you take it all off. Yeah, we will do a detailed explanation of the vinyl cutter either tomorrow or on Monday. We also have a vinyl cutter in Baldora. So let's just try to fit the vinyl cutter in somewhere where we have some time. But maybe it's more important to get sorted out with SolidWorks and all the other things before we get into the vinyl. Yeah? No, go.
That's the one I want. Is there something that we can maybe use to hold pieces in place? Like when
For the laser?
no, for so like I think this is all one piece. Like somehow even if it's like small connections.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, when it's not, and you don't want it displaced.
Yeah.
Is there something you can like
It's
temporarily put on top? And
Yeah.
then you can
Yeah, there's a transfer foil that you put on and then you take it all off. And yeah. So it's easy, it's very easy to use the vinyl cutter and to make great stickers. Okay, and I think this is a view of somebody's teeth. I don't know, maybe there was a dentist in FabAcademy. This one is, I think, is the windmill again. And actually the windmill is adjustable. So you can turn one piece against the other and adjust how wide it opens. So you can actually do mechanics and all kinds of movable things in cardboard. There's a few programs that I could recommend you for doing kinematic analysis. Yeah, if you're interested, tell me and I'll give you some tips. Like in general, anything yeah? Right?
Yeah, 30 I would be, but you can tell me that later.
Yeah, okay. So whatever I want to cut in the laser, I cut it in cardboard first, just to making sure that I did everything right, all the lines really cut where I want. And especially for kinematics, it's very handy to just make a coarse model in cardboard to see if it works. And once you're happy with that, you can cut in some more expensive material. Oh yeah, this is the DNA model. So this is actually simulating the different bases of the DNA. So it's really, probably it's the DNA of the producer himself. Oh yeah, and the bike helmet. I really like this one. Maybe you can do, yeah. Last year, Taiji, he made some shoes, and he was actually wearing them quite a lot. Yeah. So, yeah, be creative. Oh, Lego pieces. Of course, you can just copy anything that you come up with that is already modular and make it out of cardboard. Okay, this wheel, I wouldn't trust this one too much. Another technique for joining pieces. Yeah, so as you can tell, there's more than one thing you can do with cardboard. Maybe we could have a quick look at the classes from last year, just for showing some more stuff. Yeah?
Is there any place where you can drawings and
For the cardboard?
cardboard, wood?
Oh, for wood, I will show you. We'll have a whole lesson just on wood joints. For the cardboard, I would just recommend you to look at the old pages and see what people come up with. So, for example, one that I remember from last year. Let's see if I find them right away. So this one is Gabriel's work. So he started just by sketching on paper and seeing how this would fit, how it bends. Then you make a first test piece. So this one is very, like, I think we're all going to start to do this one together, like the one where you just have two combs. And they have spacings ranging from, let's say, 3.7 to 4.3 millimeters. And so you can see how well they fit together. So each time you start something like this on a different machine, you would cut one of those pieces just for seeing what the right thickness is. And once you know it, you can adapt your design to have exactly this. It doesn't work if you don't try it first. Like, I guarantee, if you just design something and cut it, it will not fit. So make a test piece first, see what your value is, and then continue cutting. If not, you will just like, yeah, get annoyed with the whole thing. And so starting from this piece, he developed something that already has a little clip to hold it in place. Of course, on the first ones, you realize some mistakes. So before you cut like 50 of them, cut 2 and see if they fit together. Once you know they fit, cut the rest. And also each time that you start cutting something, you should do a little test cut just somewhere in the corner, just doing a little square, or adjusting the right speed and power to your laser. If you put the wrong speed, then you get different results. So depending on the settings of your laser, you might have to redo the very first test. So if you cut your first test piece and it fits, write down the settings and remember them.
Sometimes it fits on plastics a lot, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, in my experience, affect cardboard.
Well, if you cardboard cuts very easily. So if you put a power that is too high, you won't really see it. But basically, you're just cutting into the base of your machine, which is what you want to avoid. And the risk of it starting to burn is higher. So cardboard is not very critical, because as soon as you reach a certain threshold, it will just always cut through. But what you want to avoid is that you cut with too much power, which makes it take longer, and it's just not. Doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
Yeah, in plastic, it's really not.
And also, with some materials, if you put too much power as well, like wood, for instance, if you put too much power, it won't cut through. Sometimes it's better to put a bit less power because the carbon lines.
Yeah.
Before carbon lines.
Yeah, we will have another extensive talk about materials and settings of the laser tomorrow. So this one is just for some ideas. I like this one. It's very simple, but you can already do quite complex stuff just with one piece. And yeah, again, you can make a salad bowl out of it, or maybe you could even make a little stool out of it if you, yeah, some patience. You can assemble crazy stuff in little pieces. And this is a test that we tried. So we were inspired by this one here. So the idea is that you make a 3D model of yourself and you texture it, which is quite easy if I help you a little bit. And then you can flatten this model. So you unfold it in the 3D model to a flat model. Peppacuda is something that you could use for that. Blender also works very nicely for it. And then you could cut it with a laser or with a vinyl cutter. And then you fold it together and you make a three-dimensional object out of the paper pieces. An interesting trick that we haven't tried yet is that if you put it inside out, so you put the color on the inside of your 3D object, and then you fill it with polyurethane foam, you get a solid object. And if you put some dissolvent on top of the paper, it will make the color from the paper go onto your polyurethane foam. And so you can carefully wash off the paper, and you're left with a 3D model that is textured, which is something where you normally need a very expensive 3D printer for. If somebody is up for this one, I would love to try it. Our plotter, we have a plotter down there. I'm not sure, I think it should be functional. But there's also a big plotting shop just down the street where you can print any size of paper. And we could either cut it in the vinyl cutter, which is limited to maybe 80 centimeters. So if you have a big model, it's a bit more difficult. But I would recommend you doing small models anyway, just for a test. And then we could do it just with the vinyl cutter and the plotter that we have. And I guess you saw the little dinosaur that Santi made of the Maker Fair. It's not exactly a snap construction. So if you wanted to do something like this, you would have to come to the way so that the paper pieces join together just by fitting together, which should be possible. So this is Gabriel. we took some pictures of him. So we have the front view, the side view, and the back view. And we projected this on a very simple 3D model. And then you can see how we unwrap it. So you get this model. This is already laid flat. Looks a bit spooky, but you can tell that the 3D model is already started the next assignment. And this will be the main problem in this week, that it will take you 2 or 3 days until you discover how the whole laser cutting works. And then you will be so happy cutting along that you completely forget about your documentation. And then on Monday, you suddenly realize that you forgot to take any pictures of your whole process. So you basically have to do everything again, and you forgot to write down your settings. So you have to find your settings again. Please, like whatever you do, take screenshots, take photos, and write down notes, because if not, you will run out of time for sure. Like by the end of next week, you will all realize how short a week is, and a week is very short. And bear in mind that you need about 1/3 of the time for designing something, 1/3 for building it, and 1/3 for documenting it. I would even go so far to say that it's half-half between documentation and fabrication. So don't underestimate the documentation part. Even if you do something very simple, just as a starter, and you have it documented, then you can still throw yourself into something more complicated and be relaxed because you know the minimal is already done. So before you do something crazy, just do the minimal for passing the exam or for passing the assignment. And then you will work much happier and it's more fun. Okay, let's look at another one. Do you remember last year?
I was thinking.
I'm sure.
You have the district code and the district code, just for like.
Ah, yeah. Then we can also look at a nice video.
Or this.
So he's using the laser in a defocused way, so he purposely defocuses it, and then if you do movement in one spot, it gets warm and the acrylic bends just by gravity. So he's using Visio. Visio is a software from Microsoft that is mostly used for making flowcharts and diagrams. But he developed a system where he can use he has a laser he has a camera over the laser. And now he tracks the laser pointer, and the camera on top recognizes the lines that he's drawing and automatically adjusts the size of his Visio objects. Just by using a laser pointer on top of the laser, he can make complete designs that fold and turn into like pen holders. Yeah, but this could be a final project. If you develop something like this, it would be interesting.
So you should use another software. So you should use another software, not the software.
Yeah.
So there's a software common for
use the Fab modules, or you could use any of the commercial drivers, which is not worse. But this one is nice because he uses you can't do normally you can't do bends steeper than 90 degrees. but you put a little servo inside that turns it, so you can make 180-degree bends, which is super sweet. Like the laser.
Curly, I get a question.
Yeah.
Do you think we could laser brush cardboard if we use the laser in an unfocused way?
What do you mean brush? Like to give it a color, or?
Like an airbrush, because it's unfocused, but it would still, warm the cardboard enough to brown it. I mean, to darken it.
Yeah, give it a try. I would be very interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I will.
Cool. Yeah, so this one is another design where he makes the whole shape out of one piece. So first he cuts an outer structure, then he bends it in the unfocused way, and then he cuts another rim around it, and only in the end does he cut like the little support structures. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, probably. Okay, so this is just one idea. Then let's go back. Then I think Pamela made something using curve bending. So if you use the curve of the laser for making little cuts that allow the material to bend, it's what we call curve bending. So here we are in Inkscape. Oh no, actually she made already a first prototype of a final project, including the curve bending. Can you see this one here? And I think in the end, we have a little table. Yeah, very little. No, then it was, who did the curve bending? Francesca, no? Ah, yeah. So this is the extreme curve bending. So she made lots of tests for seeing how things fit together. You can have different patterns for the curve bending. I think she discovered that that if you cut up to the corner, the cuts are not as nice. And yeah, this is what she came up with. You can also download all the files from the previous years and take them as an inspiration. If you search for curve bending just in Google, you will find lots of links on people doing this with wood. But it works beautifully with cardboard as well. So you can make a little cup holder. Actually, what we need here, like everybody's drinking the coffee in the small little white cups. If we continue doing this, ITER will kill us. So we shouldn't do that. We should have cups that, when they fall over, don't spill as quickly as the regular coffee cups. So maybe if somebody comes up with a little cap that you can put on top of your coffee, just an idea. Then this might be cardboard. No, it's wood. This would be a nice exercise. And here you can tell all the different types of patterns that you could use for curve bending. If you go to Thingiverse, you can find some ready-made examples. So here there's a whole collection of curve bending parts. And I think there's one template that gives you lots of different patterns. This one is also quite popular, a little a case for holding your glasses. Works much better in wood than in cardboard, but still. And if you look a bit closer, there's one template that gives you lots of different curve bending patterns, ranging from little Pac-Mans to Space Invaders and hearts, and like you can make. Actually, this is something that we don't see very often. So if you're up for a challenge, you could try to do curve bending with a bidirectional bend. So it's easy to bend something in one direction, but if you want to bend it in two directions at the same time, it's a lot more difficult. But with the right pattern, you can do two-dimensional curve bending. But let's see if we find something. Yeah. Oh, if you don't know the site of Instructables, this is also a very nice resource for inspiration. Okay, my internet is a bit slow. Ah, yeah, this looks like a two-dimension, like in two directions. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Cool.
Last one doesn't work.
You tried?
The B has one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually, I can show you one nice example from a bit longer ago. This one also looks cool. This is from 3 years ago, and Vasco made a nice one. So he was inspired by this lamp. I think it's from Paul Holson. And so he decided to make his own copy. He started in Inkscape, and I think he ended up in Rhino. And at some point he says, okay, I should have listened to my instructor, because everything he cut just went straight to the garbage because it didn't fit. Lessons learned. Test with cardboard, and test with cardboard, and test with cardboard. This went all to the garbage. Cool. And yeah, so this is what he came up with in the end. Beautiful lamp. He made also a little holder for it. Yeah. I think it's just as beautiful as the original. Vasco, Portugal. No, Vasco. Vasco Cosme. Maybe. Let's see what room is it. Oh, this is the vinyl cutter. Okay, no, well, never mind. And let's have a look. No, Ferdi at FabAcademy2016.org. I can't really see the last one. Did you send it already?
Yes.
Yeah, my internet is really slow. I don't know what's happening. Ah, here. Ah, yeah, this one is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So this one, maybe I shouldn't show you because it will get fast. Because he's just amazing. Is this the same page where all the pictures are? Assume invite me. Yeah, he has hundreds of web pages also. So
He spent his life out doing this kind of thing.
yeah. So I think recent work, and this is the list. Okay, so this is same style, a bit bigger. So it's just one shape that you keep repeating, and you end up with something like this. It's just this shape. And let's see. Well, there's so many.
It's nice because you can download the PNG and then convert it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can easily copy those things. The problem might be to figure out how to put it together. This one is 3D printed, I guess. Metal. Acrylic. Yeah, we can mill metal. Hmm? You can? Yeah, like aluminum we can mill. It's a bit it's not very fast, but possible. Yeah, so this one is a nice inspiration. I will put it in the links for the documentation. Lots of beautiful pieces. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, some very simple, some very complex. Then, the strawberries, we should watch the video. This is also a very good inspiration. Yeah, looks like nothing, but how to make money with a piece that is €1. 1 cent. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can tell how easy it is to copy this one. And then this one. Ah, yeah, the cardboard surfboard. Oh, those are amazing. So if you look for but actually, it started with a guy that developed this whole program for designing surfboards in the browser. So he made it all in JavaScript. It used to be available. Now he wants you to pay a little bit for the plans, which is completely fair. Because trying to do this yourself is a hell lot of work. So you start by joining Cardboard. And he has this very interesting hexagonal pattern that he uses, which also makes it look very beautiful. So these are all just stripes of cardboard. And once you put some some glass fiber around them, you get something that is incredibly stiff and rigid and very lightweight and looks beautiful against the sun. So there's many different designs. I think I have 3 already downloaded. If somebody's interested, would love to make one. Looks so amazing, no? Cardboard surfboard. And then we also have to see the Hoberman sphere. Yeah. So let's see if you see a video on this one. Oh no, here. So Hoberman now has a series of toys. If you look for Hoberman and you go to the website, you find lots of crazy little toys. I think all of them would be a nice inspiration. Haven't seen any of those in cardboard? Would be a challenge. And somebody remembers how those little things are called? There's lots of little triangles that you can twist and turn against each other, and you kind of give it angles. It's a Japanese puzzle game. Can X? So you can make it a bit bigger as well. Let's see. Oh, come on. How did you call it? 10S? KNF? KNEF. Knicks?
There are some like plastic parts,
Yeah.
like snowflakes and rocks and that's KNT.
Wow. Well, this looks fun as well, but it's not exactly what I meant. Let's see if I find it. This one. So it's, how's it called? Triangle snake magic. The design might be a bit tricky in cardboard, but it's completely possible. So it's in the beginning, all you have is just a straight piece, but then by folding it, all the joints just rotate in the diagonal of the triangle. So you can, this is all the same piece, and you can deform it to make all kinds of different shapes. Really like it. And you can make it a chair, a table, a cell phone holder, a coat hanger. Would be nice to have this one in a cardboard design. And I think that's more or less it for the inspiration. Somebody has another crazy idea?
Yes, anybody. Here's a milling machine for cardboard.
Okay. Wow, that's really thick cardboard. Oh, actually, if you look, there's a cardboard bike. Mm-hmm. Hmm? A guitar. Wow. Wow.
But
Cool.
it's designed to make it so.
Yeah. Uh-oh. No, a kayak? Yeah, I'm sorry, can't figure out how to increase the volume. Yeah.
Soon after, it's possible. No way it can be done. While I was eating with my wife one day, noticed that my little sister was playing. I told her all the things about how we can do and all the things I went through and they said it was impossible. And then she looked at me, gave me that look. And she said, how you doing? You're not going to try it. And you're going to drive yourself. You're going to drive me crazy. You're going to make that felony. So just go ahead and try it.
Okay, let's jump a bit forward. Here he is on a 100% cardboard bicycle.
Strong.
Cardboard bike.
It's cheap.
It not very long, I think.
What I like about it the most, it's made out of carbon.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is it for this week's motivational part. And let's have another little talk about like some other topics. So the ones that are not part of FabLab Barcelona, this is not important anymore. But I hope you all got the email inviting you to come to Valdauda on Friday. So we meet at 9:30 at the metro station Mundet. I think everybody can find the metro station. No, it's maybe I put it just in case. Okay, so there's several ways to get there. Here is the metro station Valdauda. Can you see my cursor? Up there? And right before is Mundet. And the house is somewhere here. So you could either go from Valdauda or from Mundet, but the walk from Mundet is easier and shorter. But if you want to go by car, it's easier to go from Valdauda. Jonathan usually picks up the students for the Green Fab Lab at 9:30 in front of the metro station of Valdauda. But there is already a few people in the car. So if you want to go by car, please tell me before and we can see how we get this arranged. But it's a very nice walk. It's not a short walk and it's quite steep. But it's beautiful. Like once we're past the prison, it gets a bit more romantic. And it's just a footpath, so it's rocky, some parts are a bit inclined. So you should wear some good shoes, like I think those shoes are okay, but yeah, don't come in high heels or anything. So take the best shoes you have, should be fine. And up in Valdauda it's a bit colder than here, so if you're sitting in the lab, you might be freezing if you don't have, if you have some long underwear, this is the time to use it. And we have a restaurant quite close to, it's just across the valley, so it's a 5-minute walk to the restaurant. It's a very nice restaurant, maybe I can put it. And they have a beautiful view on the Fab Lab, basically. So maybe put it like this. So this is the restaurant. It's on the backside. If we're lucky, there's nice weather and we can sit outside. If not, we will sit in here. And the sooner we know how many people we are, the sooner we can reserve a table, and the more probable it gets that we actually get a seat. On the weekends, it's super crowded there. Friday, probably not yet, but we should reserve a table anyway, so we can get a nice one at the window. And actually, this is the place we're going to afterwards. This is the house in Valdauda. There's no sheep anymore, unfortunately. So this is another view of the house. Oh, this is a rendering. Yeah. So right now, the specialty of the season is calçots. So maybe we look at this.
Sorry about that house. Who bought it in
a very special dish of Catalonia. So they take these spring onions and they roast them on the fire, just like this, in the flame. They get all burnt and black. It's a huge mess. And what you get on your table looks like this. And so if you eat it, you get, they give you some, like a little, yeah, you dress up like a 5-year-old and you get some gloves, and you eat them just by taking off the black stuff and you put them in your mouth like this. It's, yeah, once we're there, we should also have some white wine in the puron, which just say you drink like this. Also quite fun for the ones trying the first time. So the restaurant would be fun, but it's we have to reserve a table. So tell me quickly if you come or not. And it's not cheap. It's not super expensive, but if you go for a big menu with croissants and wine and blah 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 blah, you might end up at something like 25 euros. We walk down to the metro again. I guess at 6 or 7 o'clock we walk down before it gets dark, and we just the same way that we came. No, the presentations with Thomas are going to be up there. So Thomas is going to take his students up there as well, and we're also going to take lots of the interns of the FabLab. So I guess it's going to be quite fun. And if you say, okay, the restaurant is too expensive for me, you can bring your own food. There's a kitchen in Waldauda, and you could, in theory, cook, but then you have to clean up your dishes afterwards, and it's going to take a long while. And I don't want to make it, how do you say, we have to work. Like, it's not yet the time for making a party in Waldauda. Once we get like through the most difficult assignments, we can think about doing a nice barbecue up there. But for now, we are up there for working. For you to see the place. It's a beautiful place, and you're invited to come up there whenever you want, or whenever you combine with Jonathan. And yeah, so we want you to see the place, but we're not going to make a 4-hour lunch and then walk down completely drunk. No, we're gonna try to have a quick lunch, and then we continue working and have the sessions with Thomas afterwards. 3 or 4 o'clock. I think it's in the calendar. So yeah, decide whether you want to bring your own food or go to the restaurant. I'm sure you can organize between you who brings some bread and some cheese and some ham or whatever. Yeah, I guess we're going to have the 2 groups. Whatever you prefer. Then I had another point. SolidWorks. Okay, so I have one installation on SolidWorks on this computer, and as you can tell, there is none. So yeah, it's the usual difficulties. They updated our license from, like, we have different licenses for the one professional version and for the student versions. So the professional version is always one version ahead of the student version. And now the 2016 version just came out, but the student version is still 2015. But I had my license server running for the 2014 version, so now it doesn't work anymore, and I have to reinstall everything and redistribute all the files. But in theory, it should be up and running. And I have a pen drive. But this one already has SolidWorks on there. It's the student version. And in order to run the student version, you have to install it. And then you have to log in to our Fab Wi-Fi. And you can borrow a license. So there's one computer running as a license server. And only when this computer is on, and only when the software is running, and only when you're connected to the Wi-Fi, are you able to start SolidWorks. Yeah. It doesn't work yet. I still have to test it, but I would.
Freddie, can I ask you to come closer to the microphone?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just said that the SolidWorks license only works in conjunction with a license server. So you have to set up one computer that serves as a license server. Could be any computer that is part of the Wi-Fi network. And then once you have this one running, you can borrow up to 10 licenses. And you can decide, you can either decide to just work online as long as you're in the network, but you can also opt to borrow a license. And you can borrow a license for up to a year. And yeah, let's see how we do this in the best way. Last year we borrowed a lot of licenses, so people just occupied one license. So there's one less on the server, and they take the computer home and they can work at home or wherever they want. And this was working quite well. So let's see. The problem is right now, officially, we only have 10 licenses, and we are more than 30 altogether with Waldauda. And we have the licenses from Waldauda, from here, and I think I managed that they accidentally sent me another serial. So I might have licenses for 30 computers, but I don't know how to run them with one license server. So we have to see how we do this. but we will figure it out. And for emergency cases, I will give you another SolidWorks license that's less official. Yeah? Ah, yeah, and I think you should have received an invitation for trying the Fusion 360. Yeah, give it a try. It might be just as good as SolidWorks. I don't have any feedback from anybody. If somebody tries it, it would be interesting to know if this is usable. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Looks like the registration for the for the Fusion 360 is quite easy. So you can just follow a link and fill out a form, and you get a free download for Fusion 360. Ah, okay. So I have this is the Fabian. It's tiny, and you can, in theory, just plug it into your USB drive, restart your computer. You have to hold a certain shortcut for it to change boot sequence. On a Mac, it's just the Alt key. On most Windows computers, it's either F2 or Escape, or you hold the Shift key. There's many. You have to look it up for your computer. Anybody who wants to try it, like, you should try it before you buy one, because on some computers it seems to be difficult, especially with Windows 8, which doesn't make it very easy to get into the boot sequence. But yeah, whoever is happy, if this one works, I can give you a copy on the next day. This is a Linux distribution that runs on a pen drive. So it's a complete operating system with all the programs installed. There's about 50 programs installed, ranging from digital fabrication to programming. There's a complete environment for doing 3D graphics, for programming. So you have open frameworks installed with all the examples compiling already. You have pure data and open frameworks and Super Collider. You can make music with it. It's a quite complete little system. And whoever wants to try it, I'm a bit behind with updating the newest version. Like, the newest version is much better than the last one, and I think I should give you the newest one. And yeah, let's just try it, and if it works for you, you can get a copy. And yeah, and one thing that might be interesting just for making your life easier here in Barcelona. I guess most of you figured this out by themselves already. Oh. So we are more or less here. And if you need a shop for buying some food, just for, like, let's say you want to buy a big bottle of water, or you want a quick snack, some bread, there's a little supermarket that is almost always open in this street, on this side. Should be this one, no? Yeah. So this is the closest shop for buying almost anything up to 10 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, maybe I should double check with the street view to see if it's really the right one. But if you walk out to the door and you go the first one to the left, on the right side in the middle there's a little Dia supermarket that is mostly always open. The next bank is, if you walk out to the left and you turn left again and you cross one street, on the right side there's a bank of La Caixa. And the closest hardware shop for buying screws and tape and whatever you might need just quickly is on the same corner a bit further, so it's over here. It's called Ferreteria. Yeah, let me see if my internet is so slow, it's still loading just the map. So this is just for you to know. Then if you want to have a coffee and sit outside and have a nice piece of cake with it, unfortunately it's a bit of a walk. So you have to go one block down, and then here 2 blocks, and here there's a little cafe where you can sit outside, you can have lunch for a reasonable price. And yeah, Ferreteria Bonnet is the next one. And once you get to Marina, there's 2 big you just follow the road in this direction. There's a Lidl right here and another Eroski on the other side. So if you want to have a cheap lunch, this is the place where you can just go to a supermarket. And then there's lots of nice places where you can go for lunch. Like, probably you already went to Lecker, the one where we built the furniture here in the Fab Lab. Then the Galego, which is just down the street. Then there's how's it called? The Carrot Cafe, which is over here. Yeah, I would recommend you, like maybe we can borrow Santi's list. Santi made a beautiful list of food recommendations last year, and I would love to complete this. And if you follow the road, you go out to the right and you just go straight. You go here until you hit the Ramblas de Poblenou. And so actually Ramblas is a word for a place where the water would run down to the sea. It's mostly a lively street. And most Spanish cities have more than, or have one Rambla at least, or maybe even several of them. Actually in Portugal you also have Ramblas, but they call them Regueirão, which is just the same thing. No? And so Barcelona has at least 2 Ramblas. The one famous one that everybody knows, that is just crazy with tourists and they steal your underwear without you noticing it. And this one is the nice Rambla. So there you can really experience the Ramblas, how they were before they got overflooded with tourists. So there's lots of places where you can eat very well and drink very well. And yeah, I would definitely recommend you to take a walk on the Ramblas de Poblenou. And then there's one list that we have, which is called the Big Mapa. This is the this one. I will send it to everybody, and I can't find it in my bookmarks right now. But we made a little list with all the different hardware stores. So if you need plastic or acrylic or wood or electronics, we made a little Google map with lots of all the points for all the shops that you might want. Let me see if I find this one. Okay, so here on the left side you can see all the different shops. They're not all perfectly updated. I went to one of them and it didn't exist anymore. But this is part of what you have to discover each time you go to a new Fab Lab. You will have to find out where do I get my tools and my materials. And actually you don't need to buy any tools for finishing FabAcademy here, because we supply you with everything you need. But sometimes you might have a crazy idea and you want to buy, I don't know, 10 sheets of plywood, and this is stuff that you have to pay for yourself. But yeah, I think it's a nice, how do you say, feel free to buy some extra stuff when you're interested. Last year we had some people going into crazy thermoplastics and things that are not easy to get. So they just ordered it by themselves. And Francesca was ordering lots of stuff. If it makes sense and we say, okay, this is actually something useful, we might be able to reimburse you the money. So if you buy something, tell me first so I can give you the NIF number of yeah, so you can buy it with the proper invoice. And then I can try to negotiate for you to get the money back. Which I can't guarantee, but I will try my best. But yeah, I think we should try. And this is the big mapper. And you see that, yeah, it's sorted by color code in plastic and wood and metal. And I will send you the link of this one right away. Okay, any more questions? Valdauda, everything clear?
Yeah.
Okay, then, yeah, have a nice evening and see you tomorrow for a later.
I just have one question, but it's not related to this class.
Yeah?
I was wondering if you know a way of exporting vector from antimony.
Oh, give me half an hour and I will look it up.
Okay, thanks. It's not
Okay.
urgent though. Okay, thanks, Ferdy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Something tasty now? Das lecker ist groß.
Chinese.
No.
Nah. Fablet diet.
Yeah.